Hey everyone! Welcome back to Fluent Ingo, your cozy corner for learning easy English while improving your life at the same time. I'm Murad. And I'm Hassan. So happy you're here with us again. Seriously, we love hanging out in your ears. Hanging out in your ears, I love that. We're basically two tiny English coaches sitting inside your headphones.
Hassan, Murad, you look like you stepped out of a comic book today. What's the secret? Honestly, two things. First, I actually slept before midnight for once. Second, I told myself this morning, okay, today we are not running on autopilot.
Not on autopilot. I like that. So no zombie Murad today? No zombie Murad today. I still love my coffee, don't get me wrong, but I didn't want coffee to be my entire personality. I did a small stretch, opened the window, took a deep breath, and my brain basically said, "Whoa, new life. This feels nice." Hassan, meanwhile, I had one of those mornings where I argued with my alarm clock 3 separate times. Ha, we've all been there.
But I did one small thing differently. I listened to music instead of scrolling my phone. Music instead of scrolling. That's a really nice switch. Yeah, it felt softer, calmer. My brain woke up slowly instead of getting hit with 100 notifications all at once. See? That's already a tiny life upgrade. A tiny upgrade, but a real one. And that's actually connected to today's topic. Right, because today we're not just talking about mornings, we're talking about your whole life. I had this quiet moment yesterday, circles for years.
Oh, I know that feeling. You see someone who used to struggle, maybe with money, with confidence, with English, and suddenly they're glowing. New job, new energy, new life. And you think, wait, what did they actually do? What did I miss? Exactly. And it reminded me of my own English journey. In the beginning, it felt like climbing a huge mountain. So many words, so much grammar, so many strange sounds. I felt tired just thinking about it. Hassan, same here. I used to believe that if I just memorized a giant list of words, I'd magically be fluent. But later, I understood it's not only about vocabulary. It's about your daily habits, your mindset, the way you think, and how you actually use English in real life. And then something clicked in my head. I thought, oh, life change works the same way. Most of the time, your life does not change because of one dramatic movie moment. It changes because of many small choices, repeated day after day. Yes, tiny decisions, repeated again and again. And those little decisions slowly build a completely new version of you. So today, we'll talk about how to change your life one small step at a time in simple English with real examples. But before we go deeper, we want to ask you for one tiny favor. Hassan, one small move for your finger, one big help for this podcast. Murad, if you enjoy learning with us, please like this episode and subscribe to Fluent Ingo. It really helps more learners find us. Hassan, and we'd love to hear from you in the comments. You can write one simple sentence like, I'm your name from your country, and one small thing I want to change in my life is... We really do read your comments, and we genuinely love learning about you. They help us understand your life and your dreams. And when you write, your English brain has to actually work. Choose words, build a sentence. That's real practice, not just passive listening.
All right, let's jump into today's topic, what it really means to change your life. And by the way, today's episode sits around an intermediate level. That means it's great whether you're already comfortable with English or you're a strong beginner pushing yourself a little further. The English here is clear and simple, but still interesting and a little deep.
Hassan, not baby English, not super advanced English, something right in the middle. Wherever you are on your journey, you can relax and learn with us. And because we love vocabulary, we'll highlight some bigger words and phrases as we go, explaining them naturally inside the conversation. Then, at the end, we'll do a calm little word tour. Sit down, breathe, and go through each important word again with simple examples. So stay with us till the end. Murad, let's start with a simple question. If people really want to change their life, why does it feel so hard? That's the big question. Change sounds beautiful, right? New start, new chapter, new life. But real life is different. Many people want change and still feel stuck.
Stuck. That's an important word. Stuck means you can't move forward, like when your shoe gets caught in the mud, and no matter how hard you pull, it won't budge. Exactly. You try to move, but something is holding you back. So what's actually holding us back? Let's look at a few big reasons.
First big reason, and maybe you feel this one too. Fear of failure. Fear of failure. Failure is when something doesn't work out the way you wanted. Many people think, if I try and I fail, people will laugh at me, or I'll disappoint myself, or I'll prove that I'm just not good enough. But they almost never ask the opposite question. What if I try and I actually succeed? Every person you admire for making a big change has a hidden history of many small failures behind them. A secret history of failures. I like that. They just decided that failure is part of the road, not the end of the road. Failure is part of the road, not the end of it. That's our first big reason. The second reason is having no clear direction. No clear direction. Direction here just means knowing where you're going, like having a map on your phone. Many people say, I want a better life, or I want to improve my English. But that sentence is too big, too blurry. Blurry means not clear, like a photo that's out of focus. You can kind of see something's there, but nothing is sharp. So their dream is blurry, and their plan is blurry too. And when everything stays blurry, people wait. They wait for a big, perfect master plan, and while they're waiting, nothing actually changes. That waiting room feeling. You're not moving, but time definitely is. And that leads us to the third big reason, something that happens right inside your own head, negative self-talk. Negative self-talk. This one is strong. Self-talk simply means how you speak to yourself inside your own mind, the voice inside. Hassan. Sentences like, I'm not smart enough, or I'm just not an English person, or people like me never really change. These lines act like poison quietly dripping into your brain. And if you hear that poisoned voice every single day, of course you'll feel small, scared, and tired before you've even started anything.
Totally. And then there's another very common trap. Waiting for motivation. Waiting for motivation. People say, I'll start once I feel ready, or I'll practice English once I feel motivated. But in real life, motivation usually shows up after you start, not before.
Hassan, you take one small action, and then your brain rewards you with a little bit of motivation afterward. It's like first you move your legs, and only then does the energy actually arrive.
Hassan, I remember this happening with exercise, actually. I kept waiting and waiting for the perfect day to start running again. New month, new week, nice weather. You were waiting for absolute perfection. So what finally changed?
Hassan, I made a small deal with myself. Just 5 minutes, nothing more. I went outside, walked a little, then jogged a little. Afterward, I felt proud, just a little bit, and that tiny bit of pride gave me the energy to do it again the next day. Murad, I had the exact same thing happen with speaking English. For a long time, I thought my accent sounded bad, that I'd sound stupid. I waited to feel confident before speaking, and of course, that feeling never arrived on its own. Hassan. Yeah, confidence never shows up first, so what finally pushed you? Murad, I finally just said, okay, I might sound silly, but I'm going to speak anyway. I made plenty of mistakes, but every single conversation made me a little braver than before.
Hassan, so if we put it all together, fear of failure, no clear direction, negative self-talk, and waiting endlessly for motivation. Fear, no direction, a negative inner voice, and waiting. These are like invisible ropes wrapped around your whole body. Hassan, invisible means you can't actually see them, but they still hold you in place and make it hard to move forward. And step 1 of changing your life is simply noticing those ropes. You can't cut something you've never even seen. You can't cut what you don't see. But once you start seeing those ropes clearly, you can slowly begin to loosen them. And that's exactly when change becomes possible. Okay, so now we understand why change feels difficult. The big question now is, how do we actually start?
Hassan, this is where small steps become powerful. Many people imagine change like a big explosion. Boom, brand new life overnight. But real change is much more like growing a plant. You don't scream at a plant, grow right now. Instead, you give it a little water every day, a little sunlight, and time. Exactly. Those daily drops of water are like your small daily actions. They look tiny on their own, but they add up. There's an idea I really love, becoming just a little bit better every single day, like being 1% better. Add up is a nice phrase here. It means many small things combined slowly become something big over time.
For example, 5 minutes of English today doesn't look like much at all. But 5 minutes every single day for a year? That adds up to a huge number of hours. And habits are the engine behind all of that. A habit is something you do again and again,
almost automatically, like brushing your teeth, checking your phone in the morning, or, hopefully, listening to a podcast in English. Hassan, there's a well-known idea that your habits slowly shape your identity.
حفظت كلمات كتير، درست قواعد بالسنين، ولما يجي وقت الكلام دماغك بتقف. السيناريو ده بيحصل لأنك بتجبر عقلك إنه يشتغل ضد طبيعته، والمشكلة مش فيك انت، المشكلة في النظام التعليم القديم اللي انت كبرت عليه من سنين. Greetings everyone, there is Muhammad and we are in Flamingo. احنا صممنا أقوى كورس محادثة للغة الإنجليزية مبني على 50 سنة من خلاصة علم اللغويات. وأطمنك، رمينا القواعد ورا ظهرنا واستبدلناها بحاجة اسمها القوالب اللغوية. قالب واحد بتفهمه بيخليك تنتج عشرات من الجمل في ثواني وبدون ما تستهلك أي طاقة في التفكير. في الكورس ده أنا مش بس هعلمك، أنا هبرمج عقلك اللاواعي ينسخ نطق وإيقاع النيتيف سبيكر. أنا مؤمن بقدرتك على الوصول للطلاقة، لأننا وفرنا لك النظام الوحيد في الكورس عندنا اللي قادر يعمل كده. الطريق للطلاقة في اللغة الإنجليزية مش محتاج عبقرية، محتاج المنهجية الصح. اضغط على الرابط في الوصف أو في أول كومنت، انضم للكورس وخلينا نبدأ الرحلة. يلا، هستناك في أول درس.
Identity meaning who you actually believe you are. If you read in English every night, even just for 10 minutes, after a while you start thinking, I'm the kind of person who reads in English. And that belief about yourself makes it much easier to keep going. So what are some small habits our listeners could actually try? Maybe one page of an English book each night. Maybe writing 2 sentences about your day in English. Or listening to this podcast while you're cooking or cleaning. Hassan. Or a tiny mindset habit. Every time you catch yourself saying, I'm bad at English, you pause and swap it for, I'm learning English. Small switch, surprisingly powerful. Murad. The key idea from this whole part is that tiny actions, repeated again and again, can quietly build a massive change in your life. You don't need a big, dramatic plan. You just need one small action that you repeat. We already used the word mindset a few times, so let's slow down and spend a little time there. Hassan, mindset is simply the way you think about your own abilities and your future. It's the general tone of the voice living inside your head. Is it kind and hopeful, or is it painful and negative? There's a well-known idea called growth mindset versus fixed mindset. With a growth mindset, you think, I can improve, I can learn. I'm not perfect, but I can absolutely get better. Hassan, you think, this is just who I am. I'm bad at languages. I simply can't change. And I think we all already know which one actually helps you more. Our brains also have a kind of built-in filter system. Its official name is complicated, so let's not worry about memorizing it. Just understand its job. This brain filter decides which information feels important enough for you to notice. It's like a friend leaning over and saying, hey, look at this, while everything else quietly fades into the background. For example, when you learn a brand new vocabulary word, suddenly you start seeing it everywhere, in a movie, in a book, in a video title. The word was always there. It's just that now your brain says, oh, we know this one. Show it to us. So if your inner voice keeps repeating, I can't, I can't, I can't, your brain will actively search for proof that you're right. But if your inner voice instead says, I'm learning, I'm improving, your brain will start showing you small, quiet signs of real progress. That's why some people describe this as reprogramming your mind.
like installing a brand new app inside your brain. A new app in your brain, I really love that picture. And to actually do this, we can use 3 small tools: affirmations, visualization, and gratitude. An affirmation is simply a positive sentence you say to yourself on purpose. For example, I am getting better at English every single week. Morad, visualization is when you close your eyes and imagine yourself doing something well. For example, imagining yourself speaking calmly during a job interview. Hassan, and gratitude is the feeling of being thankful. You look back at your day and say, okay, today was genuinely hard, but I'm thankful for this one good moment. When you practice these 3 tools, you're training your brain not to lie to you, but to notice real chances, not only problems. Yes, and the goal here is simple. Turn your inner voice into a coach instead of a critic. And then there's another big enemy of change: perfection. Perfection means something is 100% flawless. No mistakes, no problems whatsoever. And many people secretly wait for this perfect moment before they even begin. Hassan, when my English gets better, I'll speak. When I have more time, I'll study. When I finally feel confident, I'll apply for that job. But here's the funny part. Confidence usually shows up after you start, not before. It's like standing at the edge of a swimming pool saying, I'll jump in once I feel comfortable, when actually the comfort only arrives after the jump. So true. When I first started recording myself speaking English, I felt incredibly awkward. My voice sounded strange to my own ears. I wanted every single sentence to come out perfect. Did you end up deleting a lot of recordings?
Hassan, oh, so many. But one day, I finally told myself, this recording isn't perfect, but it's good enough. I posted it anyway, and guess what happened? Nothing bad. Some people even genuinely liked it. There's a sentence I really love. A messy start is better than a perfect someday, because someday often just quietly means never.
So if you're currently waiting for a perfect moment, maybe this is your sign. Start right now, in an imperfect way. And don't even think about changing everything at once. Just ask yourself, what's one simple action I can take today? Maybe send a short voice note in English. Maybe read one paragraph. Maybe write a single email. Those imperfect little actions slowly build something important: momentum.
Hassan, momentum is that moving energy, which makes it easier and easier to keep going once you've already started. Once the bike is already rolling, you don't need nearly as much force as that very first push.
So here's a tiny challenge for you. Think of one thing you keep postponing and give it just 5 minutes today. Only 5. Just 5 minutes. It sounds small, but it can quietly open a whole new door in your day. And there's one more piece we need to talk about if you genuinely want real, lasting change. Your environment. Hassan means everything around you. The people, the places, the sounds, and the content you consume. There's a famous idea that you're basically the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If those 5 people constantly complain and constantly say things are impossible,
it becomes very hard to stay hopeful and focused.
Hassan, but if your 5 people are actually trying, actually learning, actually doing small things for their future, you slowly start to feel, maybe I can do that too. And it's not only about people. It's also about what you watch and listen to. Think of it as your information diet.
Hassan, I really like that phrase, information diet. We already know that food can be healthy or unhealthy, and information works exactly the same way. Motivating podcasts, helpful videos, good books. That's like healthy food for your brain. And some things are pure junk food. Endless negative news, dramatic videos, comment section fights. They quietly drain your energy.
Hassan, drain your energy means these things pull your energy away from you and leave you feeling empty or exhausted. Murad, when I was learning English, I honestly felt alone until I joined a small study group online. Suddenly, I had people around me saying, "Hey, I'm struggling too, but let's keep going together." Hassan, that group didn't magically make English easy, but it definitely made quitting much harder. Murad, so maybe ask yourself right now, who are my 5 people? And what does my information diet actually look like? If the honest answer feels heavy and negative, you don't need to change everything in a single day.
Hassan, but you can add one positive person, one good podcast, one small supportive community to your world. Little by little, with better people and better inputs around you, taking action starts to feel far more natural. You stop having to fight so hard against yourself. Murad, Hassan, we've used quite a few big ideas and words today. Maybe we should slow down and walk through them together.
Hassan, yes, let's do a calm little word tour before we wrap up. We have to start with our main feeling for today, stuck. Stuck is when you can't move forward even though you genuinely want to. For example, I feel stuck in my routine. Every single day feels exactly the same. Or, I feel stuck with my English. I don't know how to reach the next level. Then we had fear of failure. Failure simply means something didn't work out. You didn't succeed. Fear of failure is being scared to even try because you might not succeed. You could say, my fear of failure stopped me from starting my own small business. Or, because of fear of failure, I don't speak English in front of other people.
Next word, direction. Direction is the way you're heading, like having a clear map or a plan. You could say, I want to improve my life, but I don't have direction. Or, joining a class gave me direction in my English studies. This next one is longer, but really important. Negative self-talk. This means the unkind things you quietly say to yourself in your own mind. For example, negative self-talk like, I'm stupid, makes me feel small. Or, I'm trying to turn my negative self-talk into kinder words.
Now, a genuinely powerful word, habit. A habit is something you do again and again, almost completely without thinking. For example, drinking water first thing in the morning is a healthy habit. Or, listening to an English podcast every day is my new habit. And those habits slowly shape your identity. Identity means how you actually see yourself, the kind of person you truly believe you are. For example, after 1 year of reading, my identity changed. I started to see myself as a reader. Or, her identity is now, I am an English learner, not I am bad at English.
Next word, mindset. Mindset is your general way of thinking about your abilities and your future. With a positive mindset, problems feel a little smaller. You could say, changing my mindset helped me enjoy English so much more. And then we had growth mindset versus fixed mindset. A growth mindset means you genuinely believe you can learn and improve. A fixed mindset means you believe you simply cannot change. For example, he has a growth mindset. He thinks mistakes are part of learning. Versus, with a fixed mindset, she believes she'll always be bad at languages.
Hassan, another nice one, affirmation. An affirmation is a positive sentence you tell yourself on purpose. I use the affirmation, I'm getting better every single day. Or, her morning affirmation helps her feel confident before her day even starts. Then we talked about visualization. Visualization means closing your eyes and imagining yourself doing something well. For example, before the exam, he used visualization. He imagined himself feeling calm. Or, I use visualization to picture myself speaking English confidently.
Next word, gratitude. Gratitude is the feeling of being thankful for the good things in your life. Writing 3 good things every night helps me practice gratitude. Or, gratitude makes my problems feel a little smaller. And this one feels like motion. Momentum. Momentum is the energy of movement that makes it easier to keep going once you've already started. After 1 week of daily study, I had momentum, so continuing felt much easier. Or, small wins gave her momentum to make bigger changes later on.
Our last word for today, environment. Environment means everything around you. The people, the places, and the information you take in. A calm environment helps me focus on my work. Or, changing my environment, my friends, and what I watch helped me grow. If you didn't catch every single word, that's completely okay. You can always come back and listen to this part again, slowly. And if you'd like a small challenge, choose one of these words and build your own sentence with it. You can say it quietly in your head, or be brave and write it in the comments so we can see it and cheer you on. That's basically like sending your English to the gym for a short, friendly workout.
Hassan, a little English gym where we're all training together. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. Remember, you don't need a perfect plan. You just need one small step, repeated again and again. We believe in you. Small changes done consistently can really and truly change your life. If this episode helped you even a little, please share it with a friend who also wants to grow and improve their English. Hassan, take care of yourself. Keep going, and we'll see you in the next episode of Fluent Ingo. Bye for now. Bye, everyone.